In this video, I will explain you how the material properties such as thermal conductivity influence the speed of heat propagation. Furthermore, I will explain you how to model transient heat conduction using COMSOL Multiphysics Package. These animations show heat propagation in a solid for two values of thermal conductivity. In this case, it's 20 on the left side and the right side is 100. And in this video, I will explain you how to obtain these simulations using COMSOL Multiphysics Package. So here is the sketch of the system. It is basically a 3D solid, a hollow 3D solid, and we assume that there is a surface heater placed in the middle. This surface heater exerts a heat flux denoted by Q that heats the solid. Now, since the solid is symmetric with respect to the vertical axis, we can simplify the problem and look into the 2D representation of a system. So in 2D, system is nothing less than a square or a rectangle in this case, and we need to define the boundary conditions, and we need to define initial conditions for such a problem. So we are assuming thermal insulations. So lines 1 and 2 and 5 and 6 are thermally insulated. Then we assume a prescribed temperatures at lines 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4 and 5. And finally, we assume that there is a heat flux acting along the line 1, 6. This heat flux is exerted by a heater. Next, we are interested to see how temperatures of certain points evolve in time. So let us isolate 2 points. This is the point 1 and this is the point 2. And now we ask ourselves, how the temperature of, let's say, point 1 evolves in time. For the thermal conductivity of 20, this graph is shown over here. So we can see a response that looks like this. So when we start to heat up the system, the temperature will increase and it will reach certain value and it will saturate. Here is the temperature graph for the point 2. Since this point is further away, its temperature is lower. Now, what happens for thermal conductivity of 100? Here is the graph for point 1, and here's the graph for point 2. Now, if we compare these two graphs for, let's say, for the point P1, if we compare two cases for K20 and for K100, we will obtain the middle graph. So the middle graph shows that basically heat dissipation in a material with a higher thermal conductivity is faster than heat dissipation or diffusion or propagation in a material with a lower heat conductivity. So this graph corresponds to this graph, and this graph corresponds to this graph. Besides the thermal conductivity, there are also other material properties that influence the speed at which heat propagates through material. They are the density of a material and specific heat at constant pressure. So we can define a single parameter that somehow quantifies or in some way quantifies how fast heat propagates or diffuses through material. This parameter is called thermal diffusivity. So the thermal diffusivity is defined as a ratio of the thermal conductivity and a product of specific heat and density. So higher the thermal conductivity, higher is the thermal diffusivity. Higher specific heat and higher the density means that the thermal diffusivity is smaller. So Here, for example, is our graph from our previous slide. We can see that basically heat propagates faster for higher thermal conductivity. Similarly, we can make graphs showing how the showing the rate at which the heat propagates through material depending on specific heat and density. And finally, the equation governing the propagation of heat inside of a material or the governing the temperature change is so-called heat equation. And here is how the heat equation looks like. Here is the thermal diffusivity parameter. In the sequel, I explain how to model the system using COMSOL Multiphysics Package. Okay, so this is how we model the system using COMSOL Multiphysics. We click on Model Wizard, then we click on 2D axis symmetric. We choose physics interface heat transfer in solids. We click on Add, click on Study, and we click on Time Dependent, and we click on Done. Okay, the next step is to define the system geometry. We click on Geometry, we click on Rectangle, and we need to set the width and height of the rectangle. In our case, the width will be 0.04 and the height will be 0.1. And the base point will be located at 0.02 and 0. And we click on Build Selected, and when we obtain the rectangle. Now, this is actually not only a rectangle. This object is revolved around the z-axis, and we obtain basically a 3D structure that's shown at the beginning of the video. The next step is to define the heat flux line or area in 3D and to define 2 points. So, how do we define the heat flux line? We click on a point and we set the coordinates to be 0.02 and 0.04. And we click on Build Selected. Here's the point. Now, we add another point. The coordinates are 0.02 and 0.06, and we click on Build Selected. So here's another point. So the heat flux will be acting from along this line defined by this point and this point. The next step is to define 2 additional points. These points will be used to track the heat flux, to track actually the temperature distribution and to track how the heat flows through material. So the coordinates of the first point are 0.03 and 0.05. We click on Build Selected. Here's the point. And the coordinate of another point is 0.03. Actually, it's 0.055 and 0.05. Click on Build Select. So here are 4 points. The next step is to define the material properties. We define the material properties by clicking on heat transfer in solids and by clicking on thermal conductivity. We click on user defined. So in our case, the thermal conductivity will be 20. Then we need to specify density and heat capacity, since these 3 parameters are actually mathematically determining the behavior of the system. So we click on density, we click on user defined, and we enter the value of 2000. And heat capacity will be, in our case, 900. Great. Now we have defined the material properties. I have to say here that another method of defining the material property is to go through Material menu and clicking on blank material, and then you can define the material properties. But we are not going to follow this approach for simplicity. The next step is to define the boundary conditions and initial conditions. So let us first define the initial condition. So initial condition, in our case, we are assuming that the temperature is equal to 273 degrees Kelvin. So actually this is 273 kelvins. Then we need to define the heat flux. So we define heat flux by clicking on heat flux. And we need to define the general value of the inward heat flux. So we will enter 5 times 10 to the power 5. And we need to define a line. So if we go in a graphics window, we select the line here. The internal COMSOL notation for this line is equal to 3. And now we have defined the heat flux. The final step is to define the boundary condition. So we are assuming that temperature is constant along these lines here. So follow my cursor and you will see the boundary. So how do we do that? Well, again, we click on a heat transfer in solid, right click, and we click temperature. And we simply specify the temperature of 273 Kelvin. And we click on build all. The final step is to define the mesh. We just click on a mesh and click on build all. So here is our mesh. And we go in the study menu and we need to set the initial time, final time, and a step. So our final time will be equal to 70 and the step will be 0.1. And the final step is just to click on compute. And here is our solution. So this is the solution at the final time, 70 seconds, and we can go over other solutions. So if you want to see the solution at the beginning, here how it looks, right? We can also make a movie. Now the final plot is basically a plot of temperatures at certain points. We click on results, 1D plot group, and we click on point graph. Now, if we click on active, we can select a point. So let us select this point. We simply select this point and we click on plot and we obtain how the temperature of this point will evolve in time. So we will see the temperature will increase. If we want to add another point, can click on that point, and again we can click on plot, and you can see the temperature of the point near the boundary. Also we can see the isothermal plot. So these are the lines of constant temperature. And this would be all. You can see my other videos for instructions how to make animations. Thank you very much.